Welcome to the latest Motley Fool Stress Test. I'm Anand Chakavalu, and we've got longtime fools Asit Sharma and Lou Whiteman putting maybe the most hotly debated stock in the world through the ringer. That's right, the 19th ranked stock in the Fool universe, Tesla, ticker symbol TSLA. We'll do a 10-second bull case, a 10-second bear case, rate Tesla's business, its management, that's right, including Elon Musk, and its financials, play Armchair CEO, and end with predictions. Spoiler alert, I don't think Asit or Lou would have Tesla ranked quite as high as 19th ranked, so this one should be lively, all in 15 minutes or less. So let's get to it. Lou, to start us off, can you give us the 10-second bull and the 10-second bear?
Sure. So the bull case is Tesla is Tesla. It's the biggest name in EVs. Gives us plenty of room to ramp from here, even without getting into the solar panels, the energy storage business, self-driving work, AI endeavors, and dancing robots. There's so much potential in this company. All of their markets are big growth markets, and Tesla has established itself as a cornerstone in EV. Bear case on the other hand, the good news is, Tesla does have a head start, but because established automakers are investing billions to catch up, there is competition now. There's a new breed of startups trying to copy Tesla's playbook and out-Tesla Tesla. There's also a growing number of regulatory issues that need to be addressed. And of course, there's Elon Musk, the CEO's ability to multitask, to kind of be a lightning rod. There's pros to that, but there's also downsides. So the bear case is, can he keep it all together and keep his focus on Tesla?
Asit, how do you rate the strength of Tesla's business on a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being idiot-proof and 1 being goner?
Anand, I rate Tesla's business as an 8. It's a very strong business, and actually Lou did my heavy lifting for me by pointing out all the different markets that Tesla plays within. Combine that with a super strong balance sheet. I think something like $21 billion of cash and short-term investments on the books and maybe $2 billion of long-term debt. You have a tremendous amount of optionality. The other piece of this that really, I think, is an indication of how strong this business is for the long term is that the various divisions share technology. The main point of sharing is, of course, Tesla's Dojo supercomputer, which is, by unofficial estimates, that is Tesla's own, maybe the 5th most powerful supercomputer in the world. I would say it's somewhere in the top 10. I don't know exactly where it truly sits. But all of the divisions really share technology. They share resources. And each division, each business unit is backed by a wealth of highly technical knowledge and skilled workers, which is sort of less visible. I think the oversized personality of Elon Musk sometimes obscures how technically proficient Tesla is in manufacturing, in research and development, and computer technology.
So I'm going to be boring. I'm going right down the middle here with a 5. And the reason is, look, building cars is really, really hard. And after a lot of trial and error, to their credit, Tesla knows how to build cars. That's a huge accomplishment. A lot of the hard startup stuff is done. But the business is hardly on autopilot, so to speak. Sorry about that. They have billions of investment. They can ill afford management to be asleep at the wheel. And look, a lot of these other areas that we're hoping will be the next step forward, they're unproven. We still don't really know what the AI is. We still don't know kind of what the robots will bring. So there's a lot going on here. There's a lot they've accomplished, but there's still, in my mind, a lot of question where from here and how well they'll be able to kind of execute on the potential.
Asit, we've already kind of made some references to management, but how do you rate Tesla's management on a scale of 1 to 10? 10's Buffett, 1 is inept.
I think for me, it's a 7. It would be higher, but the personality and erratic nature of Elon Musk impedes that a bit. I'm not going to waste time talking about Elon Musk because I think he's sort of a known quantity. He's out there in the public sphere. You can evaluate him, as you wish. But something that is underappreciated about Musk is that he hires amazing people to run the various divisions that make up this multifaceted company called Tesla. I just want to talk about a few of them really briefly who've caught my eye over the years. There's Andrew Baglino. He's been with Tesla since 2006. He has an engineering degree from Stanford, leads their powertrain and energy engineering over there. There's also Tom Zhu. This is a guy who basically launched Tesla's Gigafactory in Shanghai during the pandemic when the entire Chinese economy was shut down. He kept that plant running after launching it in a dead space. He's been elevated to now open the various mega factories around the world that Tesla keeps investing in. Just an amazing entrepreneur. Charlie Kumon, this is maybe a name most aren't familiar with, but he is a doctor in materials engineering, materials science, and he's renowned in the scientific community for being one of the first people to use computational models for materials engineering. He holds this position both at Tesla, the VP of materials engineering, and at SpaceX, and they share technology back and forth. And just quickly, another person who's caught my eye is, I'm going to try to pronounce this correctly. I am of Indian extraction, but Ganesh Venkataramanan. This is a chip designer at heart. He has led the technical architecture in the Dojo supercomputer. He is an ex-AMD chip designer, a really smart guy who is forwarding Tesla's efforts to build its own D1 chip alongside the GPUs that it uses.
I'm going 3.5, but with all sorts of asterisks. And Asit, a lot of the points you made about some of the people under Musk I think are important, but I kind of look at it a different way. I'm not here to call Elon inept at all. And I don't really want to get into I agree with you, Asit, the known commodity of like the public figure that he is. That doesn't really factor in here for me. But I think that everybody has strengths and weaknesses, and I don't know if Musk's strengths match up to what Tesla needs from here. Musk, his abilities as chief spokesperson, his abilities as a visionary to get people to believe in big things, those are 10 out of 10s. But in terms of Tesla's history, meeting deadlines, getting products to market, handling CapEx decisions, kind of fly-by-wire versus planning things out, it sometimes has felt that Tesla has exceeded almost despite itself. And going forward from here, as this company matures, I think that these are the things that you need in a management team, you need in a CEO that are increasingly important. I don't trust this management team to really grow up, I guess, in a way, with the business. And I think just a steadier hand at the wheel would be better and kind of let some of these people under Musk flourish and maybe hit their own deadlines. So as I do respect him, and I do think he brings a lot to the table, I do wonder if Tesla, the company, would be better with a different CEO right now. And that kind of weighs on my score for kind of management in general, because I would like to see some of this great potential unleashed. And I do wonder if he's the one to do it right now.
Great discussion there. We tend to polarize Elon Musk, and I love the nuance, Lou, of he does some things well, some things maybe not as well, and Asit explaining how there are many other people on the management team besides just Elon Musk, although he does drive it. Let's talk financials. Asit, scale of 1 to 10, 10 being impeccable, 1 being yikes.
I'm going to give Tesla a 7 here. I think their financials are very strong. I mentioned their great balance sheet. This is a company that has generated some $21 billion in free cash flow over just the last 5 years. We tend to over-index on Tesla's pricing strategy with its electric vehicles. I know there's been a lot of attention around its declining automobile margin, which is dragging down its overall margin. And that, again, obscures partially the strategy here, which is a classic cost volume profit strategy. Tesla's CFO isn't like a fancy MBA or a fancy CFA like myself. He's a CPA. So they are crunching numbers to figure out how low they can bring their pricing to make it difficult for other manufacturers to step in. And just in the last week, we've heard from GM, we've heard from Ford, we've heard from Toyota, we've heard from Mercedes, all of whom have either expressed how difficult it's going to be to compete in this market or have explicitly said they're either sticking to current models or pulling it back a bit on their investments. So the pricing strategy is working because it's discouraging auto manufacturers from making those end investments to be able to compete on price. Now, I do think Tesla's going to have fierce competition from Chinese manufacturers, and that's a risk there. But in terms of major automotive manufacturers, it's been able to make them rethink their approach, and it's done so while it's remained profitable, and that's why I think these financials are super solid. That's just the free cash flow number I gave you. You can look at those operating cash flows, they're a magnitude above. So Tesla consciously is investing free cash flow or capital expenditure to keep building capacity, which brings down cost of sales, which makes them more competitive. There is, just some risk in there. I think the working capital could be a little more above the 1.0 that I see. I'd like them to have a little more liquidity, despite that big cash number I cited earlier. They've got some current liabilities against that. Again, not a lot of long-term debt on the books. In general, they're in plenty good shape. But I think as Lou will probably tell you, they're going to also need to invest, keep investing to stay ahead, and that's a risk in these financials.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny. I went 7-2, and I think I would echo almost everything you said, Us, there, that they are fine. The issue for them, if there is an issue, is that this is an expensive industry. I mean, back in the day, 2008, GM went bankrupt with billions in the bank. That's just how capital intensive building cars is. Tesla has the cushion where you don't have to worry about it, but if they are going to make good on their growth plans, they are going to need a lot of cash, probably cash in excess to what they have and what they make from selling vehicles. So this isn't a fortress balance sheet. It's not an Apple balance sheet, it's not a 10, but it's certainly, of all the things that's going to keep you up at night, Tesla's financials are not one of them. It's solid, it's fine, but there's going to be risk as they grow from here, and that's just nature of a public company.
Wow, yeah, not a fortress, but for two people to give it a 7 out of 10, even just a few years ago, for those of us who have kind of followed the Tesla journey, it's pretty amazing that it's at that point now. Let's move on to Armchair CEO. We all love to do it with Musk and Tesla, so let's do it. Lou, if you were CEO of Tesla, what's the first thing you'd do?
So the first thing I do is, it just sound like an automotive dinosaur here, but I did grow up with cars getting a refresh every couple of years. For all we talk about the Cybertruck in the future, Tesla's core business, their core models are getting old in the tooth, especially like the Model S and even the Model X now. There needs to be a refresh. There needs to be a way to get people excited in these models again, kind of stealing a page from Detroit's playbook. God forbid Tesla do that. But I do think that some of that simple automotive block and tackling is needed. The second thing I'd say is, and I've kind of hinted at this before, so I won't go too far into it, but if I were CEO Elon Musk, I would seriously consider firing myself. I do think that someone kind of less of a visionary and more of an operational guru who can bring in new products to market on budget, on time, and kind of the block and tackle from here is more important. So I would consider firing myself, becoming chairman, and playing with rockets.
My points are similar. I'm going to start, though, with the dissimilarity first. And I think the first thing I would do, Anand, is to tell my engineers, don't sweat FSD. There's so much emphasis at Tesla in getting to full self-driving. This is maybe something that's going to take years and years more to achieve, if ever. In the meantime, this great apparatus of a supercomputer, these advanced neural networks, distributed artificial intelligence, amazing computational power, a server system that took down the Palo Alto grid when they first tried to fire it up, is something that could be used for a lot of other things. I mean, there are so many other use cases for what Tesla has in its supercomputer and also its computational capabilities. I would tell my team, look, let's look at what else we can do here, and we'll get there. We'll get to a great autonomous driving environment in the future, but we don't have to rush it. There's no one else who has the data that we do. We're just competing against ourselves here. In the meantime, there's so many alternative revenue streams that Tesla could create. Second, I think a little similar to Lou, I would make more explicit what the succession plan is. I actually would like Elon Musk, with all his mercurial risk as a leader, to stay on board. He's a visionary. He's inspired everyone at Tesla to become a little bit more like him, and that's why they're successful. I think they need that. But as James Murdoch hinted last year, who's a board member at Tesla, there is a succession plan there. They're thinking through who might replace him. They've sort of hinted that they have someone or some people in mind. I'd make that a little more explicit and just say, look, here's the bench. Don't worry, guys. Yes, I am a little erratic, but there's some competent people that can take over. And then I'd keep pushing the company to innovate and keep just honing those edges that are beating out other companies in the marketplace. We didn't even talk about the profitability of the energy business, which is now $500 million in annualized gross profit. That itself could be a great area for further innovation.
Lou, let's put this all together and get some predictions. How well will Tesla stock do over the next 5 years? Will its returns be 15% plus, i.e. a double or better, 10% to 15%, 0% to 10%, or less than 0%, i.e. a money loser?
So it feels like with Tesla, almost looking as fast, it has to be one extreme or the other, right? It's almost impossible to envision just not an extreme. That said, I'm going to 0 to 10%, and I'll tell you why. I do believe Tesla can grow from here, and I do think that, for the long term, it is still intriguing to look at. But I also think the market in the last year or so has grown more cautious, and a lot of what they have planned or what we can see is actually coming is kind of baked in. I mean, not to sound like the old dinosaur valuation, but Tesla today trades for $373,000 for every vehicle that they expect to deliver this year. There's a lot of growth priced in there. I think we've had a wild ride. I think sort of we're entering a period now where the business gets not boring, but kind of the story slows down and we just kind of let it play out. So I think maybe the stock will do the same. We're going to stop just jumping and reacting every time a new robot is dancing or something, and we're just going to watch it play out, and it's going to be slow and steady for at least a few years.
I'm on the same wavelength where you hit that 10%. Lou is maybe a top. That's my floor, but I don't think it's going to grow more than 15% a year. I think actually Tesla will, over the next 5 years, be a 10 to 15% returner. It won't be a steady, linear progression. It'll be volatile. But I think they'll put that performance. And what's going to happen in the meantime is they're going to prove out their position in the EV space. I don't know if they'll be number one in 5 years. I definitely expect them to be in the top 3 in the world. And I think within the next 5 years, you see some of these capital investments, massive capital investments pay off from lower cost of sales again, from all the investments in everything from storage to mega packs to the mega factories, as well as all the GPU investment that I made. Tesla's one of the biggest GPU purchasers of NVIDIA supercomputing GPU complexes in the world. I think you see those start to pay off, and I actually think we'll see something that's similar to the trajectories of Apple and Microsoft, where they had these latent periods or near latent periods, and then the stock took off. I actually think it's going to accelerate in the 5 years plus period. If you're one of the people who buys the proposition that Tesla could be one of the most valuable companies, if not the most valuable company in the world in the coming years, I don't think that happens in the next 5 years. I do think that there's a window where it starts to happen in 5 to 10 years if Elon doesn't get in his own way. And I actually don't think he will. I think that bench is deep and strong. As I've said today, it's been one of my themes. And I think the culture now can survive without Elon. So my idea is it's going to be a good return for shareholders. But if you're expecting huge returns, maybe buy those shares, tuck them away, open the envelope in 5 years plus.
All right, let's also give some context on these performance predictions. Some risk ratings to go with the reward. Lou, how safe is Tesla stock on a scale of 1 to 10? 10 being ballast, 1 being roulette.
I was really torn here. I went with 4. But look, I think maybe that's a little harsh on him, because if there's a summary to this whole conversation, I think where Asit and I probably agree is, for all the drama, for all the volatility, for all of the insanity surrounding Tesla and Elon Musk, it's almost hard to remember that this is a company that is manufacturing a well-liked vehicle at a growing rate and is actually done. The hard part's kind of been done on the automotive side. I believe this company will grow from here. It's just a question of how fast, what they do, and stuff like that. So not the safest stock in the world, but 4, just kind of because you never know what emotion will get in the way between here and there. But there is a real solid business underneath the drama.
I'm going with a 5. So again, we're pretty close in our thinking. If one outcome is being the most valuable company in the world, that's sort of a high-risk, high-reward scenario from where Tesla is today. So what's the other side of that, right? It could stumble badly in trying to achieve greatness. I like 5 because out of 10, that's sort of like a coin flip. I'm not saying Tesla is a coin flip investment, but I definitely see where the probabilities right now, they seem that they could shift either way. If Elon Musk was a little more like Steve Jobs and inspired a little more confidence among shareholders, I could probably be at a 7 in terms of risk, saying, yeah, I think it's a great risk-reward scenario here. But, we have what we have. All the same, I think if you're interested in this company, as I like to say, don't put all your chips in this one idea. But if you have a sense that it could achieve its potential, don't be afraid to put something into Tesla. Elon Musk, as Anand has pointed out, is a polarizing figure. The investment is polarizing. My colleague here has had wonderful commentary in the public sphere for quite a while on how controversial this company is. And I think that's, attendant with anything which has great potential. So I think 5 for me feels pretty appropriate.
Hey, we went a little above 15 minutes, but hey, Tesla's never hit a target for timing, right? And I think it was a really good...
We had to do it.
So true.
It's on.
It was a really good balanced discussion, too. I think you guys got some of the nuances there that we often don't see. So thanks to Asit Sharma, thanks to Lou Whiteman for sharing their expertise and views in this stress test. Email us at livechat@fool.com to let us know how you like this format. As we keep experimenting, we'll keep the stuff you love and ditch the stuff you don't. See you next time. Fool on.